Video, I'm revealing a simple and profitable scalping strategy that is proven to have a high win rate. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. For this scalping strategy, I'm using three types of exponential moving averages: the 25, 50, and 100 period. And I'm going to be using the 5-minute time frame. So this is how the strategy works. The first step is that we want to find an existing trend, and the way we do that is by looking at the EMA. All three lines need to be heading in the same direction and are also separated from each other like this. Remember, we don't want ranging markets like this, which can be identified by the EMA heading sideways. You also want to avoid markets where the lines are crossing each other like this. Remember, we want the three indicators to be in the same direction. The position of the candles are also important. You want to find a setup where the candles are fully outside of the 25 EMA like this. So, once you've identified the setup, the next step is finding our entry signal. Our entry signal will be when the price makes a pullback and closes below the 25 or 50 EMA. Let me show you what I mean. So in this chart, we have spotted an existing uptrend as shown by the 3 EMA. All of them are heading upwards while the candles are above them. Next, you want to wait for the price to make a pullback towards the 25 or 50 EMA. And so this will act as our entry setup. The next step is to wait for the price to go back to the 25 EMA again. Once this happens, you take a buy position here. However, if the price instead went down and broke below the 100 EMA, you cancel your whole setup and look for other trade opportunities, because this may indicate that the trend is changing. Now for your exit strategy. So, let's say you took a buy position here. You want to set your stop loss at the 50 EMA. And for your profit target, you set it at 1.5 times your stop loss. So, here's an example of the strategy in action. In this chart, we can see that the market is currently on an uptrend as shown by all three EMA heading upwards, while all the candles are above the EMA. Next, we are waiting for a pullback towards the 25 or 50 EMA. But remember, it must not cross below the 100 EMA. So, once the pullback happens, the next step is to wait for the price to reverse back up to the 25 EMA. Once this happens, you take a buy position. Next, we set up our profit target and stop loss here. And as you can see, the price ends up hitting our profit target, so this counts as a successful trade. Let's look at another example. In this chart, we can identify an existing downtrend, as shown by all three EMA heading downwards, while all the candles are below the EMA. Next, we are waiting for a pullback towards the 25 or 50 EMA. And remember, the pullback must not overlap the 100 EMA. So, once the pullback happens, we wait for the price to go back to the 25 EMA again. And when it does, you take a sell position here. Next, we set up our profit target and stop loss here. Profit target and stop loss here. And as you can see, the price hits our profit target, and this would have been a successful trade. So that's how you trade the triple EMA scalping strategy. Now, as a bonus, I'm going to reveal to you another highly profitable scalping strategy. So for this next strategy, I'm using a combination of the RSI, the 200 EMA, and the engulfing pattern. So this is how the strategy works. First, you need to change the settings for the engulfing pattern to no detection. Next, for your RSI, you want to set it at both 50. So now you have a single line in the middle of the RSI. Next, I'm using the 1-minute time frame. For your entry setup, if the price is above the 200 EMA, while a candle shows a bullish engulfing pattern, while the RSI is above the 50 line, you take a buy position. It's the same for short positions as well. If the price is below the 200 EMA, while the candle shows a bearish engulfing pattern, while the RSI is below the 50 line, you take a sell position. Now for our exit strategy. Once you've entered a trade, you want to set your stop loss below your entry candle here, and set your profit target at 2 times your stop loss. So now, let's look at this strategy in action. In this chart, we can see that the price is above the 200 EMA, meaning that the price is on an uptrend, and so we only take signals from the bullish engulfing pattern. Next, we can actually see a bullish engulfing pattern formed. However, we can see that the RSI is still below the middle line, so you want to ignore this signal. Next, we can see that another bullish engulfing pattern has formed, but this time, the RSI is already above the middle line. So this is our entry signal and you want to take a buy position here. Now for your stop loss, you set it below your entry candle here. And for your profit target, you set it at 2 times your stop loss. And so as you can see, this trade ended up being profitable. Let's look at another example. In this chart, we can see that the price is below the 200 EMA, meaning we only take signals from the bearish engulfing pattern. Then, we can spot that a bearish engulfing pattern has formed, and the RSI is below the middle line. And so you want to take a sell position here. Next, you set your stop loss above your entry candle, and for your profit target, you set it at 2 times your stop loss. And so this ended up being a profitable trade. Now, I'm going to give you 5 quick tips to make you a better scalper. The first tip is that you don't need to take every trade. When you're scalping, you will find situations where you would receive multiple entry signals. If this happens, you don't need to take all of them. Only take trades that you are able to manage, because it's very hard to handle multiple trades at once, especially when you're scalping. The second tip is don't risk too much capital. You never want to risk more than 1% of your capital per trade. I recommend risking only 0.5% each trade. The third tip is knowing when to stop trading. When you're scalping, you can easily find yourself trading for hours and hours, and over time, you will get tired and lose focus. So it's very important to know when to take a break. You don't have to worry about missing entry signals because there will always be other opportunities in the market. The fourth tip is making sure you're using a broker with a low spread. This is actually very important because when you're scalping, every single pip counts. And if you're using a broker with a wide spread, you will have a hard time making a profit. And the last tip is sticking with one pair. When you're scalping, entry signals will appear very often. So you don't have to worry about missing entry signals from other pairs. Just choose one that you're comfortable with and stay with it. So, I just revealed 2 profitable scalping strategies that you can immediately trade right now. And all I ask for in return is for you to take 2 seconds of your time into liking the video and subscribe to the channel.